Hello Pixel friends, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl PixelChixSimmer here, and today we are going to be doing another video. So today we have a very exciting video, and I know I always say that, but today it is really exciting because, well, number one, I'm doing a face reveal. So this is me. Yeah, I was never really afraid to show my face on this channel. I just never really had the opportunity to. And yeah, so today I wanted to show my face on this channel. I'm going to be doing a sit down with me chit chat about The Sims 4 and everything wrong with it. It's going to be a long list, so go ahead and grab your snacks, grab your tea, grab your water, grab your wine, whatever you need to grab it and come back and we'll be waiting for you. Okay, so now that you got everything you need, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the video. So thank you guys so much for 300 subscribers. I am so thankful for all of you. You guys are so amazing. Every time I do a live stream, you guys are there chatting with me and getting to know me, and I'm getting to know you guys, and it's just so exciting. I'm so happy and thankful for each and every one of you, and I just wanted to say that really quick before we start the video. Now let's get into the video. So I have a bunch of tea to be spilt. I've actually done a Sims 4 rant video twice now, but they never saw the light of day. They never got released to YouTube because, girl, my hair was looking a hot mess, and it got a little bit too controversial and everything like that, so they never got released. But if need be, I might put in some of the clips of those videos here just to get my point across, because I don't know if I'm gonna hit everything like I did when I was really hitting it out in those videos that I made. So yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So everything wrong with The Sims 4. Number one, emotions. So The Sims 4 emotion system was something that was really highly promoted when they first came out, or when The Sims 4 first came out with their trailer and everything like that. But I just feel like the emotions aren't really there, even though they have these moodlets and they have, like, you know, girl, I'm sweating. I'm sweating like The Sims 4's future. Basically, the emotion system, it just isn't there, you know. Like in Sims 3 and Sims 2, when I played the game, I felt connected to the characters, I felt connected to the Sims. And when I play Sims 4, it's just, I've had a really hard time connecting with each and every one of my Sims. I think one of the actual reasons why I have a hard time connecting with the Sims is actually the animations, and this hasn't been really dealt with. This hasn't really been talked about before, but I wanted to kind of bring it up. And Sims 2, girl, when they made out, girl, they were locking lips. They were making out, okay? And then in Sims 3, they were also doing that, but to a lesser degree. When I saw my Sims 2 characters making out, I got a little bit excited. I was like, ooh, okay, this is cute. And in Sims 3, it was a little bit more mellow, but it was still cute. And then in Sims 4, it's just so animated, but not in a good way. It's like very cartoonish. It's very not realistic, and I know that they don't necessarily have to make it realistic, but it's supposed to be a life simulator, you know. That's the whole point of it. And when you're making out with someone passionately, you're not going to go be all goofy unless that's your character, but you're not going to be like swipe them up and just like lean back like the animations do when they're making out, and like, I don't know. And I don't even think they can make out. I think they can only make out on the couch. I believe so. I don't think they can make out on a bed. I think they can make out on a bed, but it's sitting down on the side of the bed as opposed to laying down in the bed. Like, who goes to make out sitting on the side of the bed? You know, unless you're like nervous. I feel like that's something that you would do, but like, I don't know. It's just, the animations are really cartoon-like, and they're very, I don't want to say exaggerated, but they're very cartoon-like and very not realistic, and so I can't really resonate with them. If I had to describe The Sims 4 in one word, it would probably be quirky, because it's very quirky. The style and aesthetic is very quirky. Like, the Sims themselves are very quirky, and I don't mean that in a good way. Like, I don't know. I like to be quirky. I think it's good to be quirky, but I don't know. Like, the animations are very quirky. But yeah, the emotion system, partly because of the animations, in my opinion, is kind of flawed. It's kind of just lackluster in a way. I don't feel connected to the characters, and I don't really get what I need out of the experience. So let's move on to another topic. I'm just gonna get a little bit controversial here. Whew. People don't come for me. The gurus. Okay, so the gurus are the people who are on Twitter. If you're familiar with Sims Twitter, they have gurus like Sim Guru Grant. There was Sim Guru Kate. I think she resigned from The Sims 4. There was those are the two that I really know, but there's a whole bunch of other Sim gurus and stuff like that. But there's been some controversy on Sims Twitter about the Sim gurus and how some of them have been kind of rude to the customers. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like, they're actually paying customers. And I just feel like it's good to have social media for your brand, but only if you do it right. Because, like, for example, I think it was Island Living. I'm not sure which one it was, but one of the trailers for Sims 4, they disabled the comments. And I'm just like, you're a company. Like, you're a whole company. You know, you're a corporation. And you're out here disabling comments. It's just like, I don't know about that. Or no, I think it was the Sims 4 University live stream that got disabled. I know some of the comments might have been really rude, and that's no excuse. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be disrespectful to the people that are, you know, putting hard work and time into it. But at the end of the day, you're a company. You're here to, you know, provide a product for us. And I really don't think you should be censoring comments. It's kind of like if you got a bad review on your website. Let's say like you go to Ulta or something like that, and there's a makeup product. Let's say let's just say Butterbeer Cosmetics. I don't think that's a real brand, so I'm not calling anybody out. But Butterbeer Cosmetics, they released a foundation and it was really scandalous, and they didn't have enough shades, and you know, and they got bad reviews on it, and they just deleted all the reviews. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, they can't just sit there and like press mute on people's opinions. Like, I mean, they can, obviously, because they did, but I don't think they really should be doing it. And like the Sim gurus on Twitter, when somebody makes a comment, or like, I should have done more research. I should have done more examples, but I know I've seen it where like somebody will leave a comment saying like, I'm dissatisfied with The Sims 4, you know, or like, you know, you guys should be doing this and that, and the Sims 4 team would just come back with a rude remark or like a sarcastic kind of remark, and I just feel like it's unprofessional. Like, I don't know, but like, I could see if that was their branding, like they're kind of like, oh, they're like Wendy's, for example. Like, they're very sarcastic. They like to roast their customers and stuff like that. They like to roast their people, and that's their branding, you know? But like Sims 4, I don't think that's what their branding is. I don't think that's what they want their branding to be. But they're hiring these people, they're hiring these gurus who go off on Twitter. And I'll try to put in examples if I can find any. And yeah, so that's basically it. The gurus and the EA team have been kind of unprofessional when it comes to trying to mute people's opinions. And like, a lot of people say, if you don't have anything good to say about it, then don't say it at all. But I think when you're talking about a person, yes. But when you're talking about a company, when you're talking about a product, yes, share your opinion, you know. Because people want to know. They want to know what they're getting when they buy a $40 game, you know, when they buy a $40 game pack or an expansion pack, you know. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. So let's talk about everything new that The Sims 4 has brought. I feel like everything new that The Sims 4 has brought to the game. So basically what I'm talking about is anything that was never made in Sims 3 or Sims 2 or Sims 1. They just made it completely brand new idea. Most of it has been a flop. I'm so sorry to say, but most of it has been a flop, and like not for no reason either. Like, okay, for example, island living. In Island Paradise in Sims 3, you had the option to make your own resort slash hotel and kind of build that up and maintain it and be a CEO of like this hotel, you know, and it was so cool. And then in Island Living in Sims 4, they didn't do that, and what they did was they did something new, which was to become like a eco environmentalist and kind of clean up the ocean, clean up the environment, which was, you know, I wasn't, to be perfectly honest, when it first came out, I was really upset about it because, you know, I don't want to take a break from the real world. I don't want to escape from the real world to play Sims and have to, you know, pick up trash for a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to, you know, pick up trash. I don't want to have to worry about the state of, you know, my Sims. I don't want to take a break from the real world. I don't want to take a break from my life to play Sims, and I'm over here, you know, worrying about the ecosystem. I'm over here worrying about, you know, the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're here to, it's a simulation, so it's supposed to be realistic, but to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of corruption in the world. I mean, I love the world. I love, you know, what we're doing in the world right now. I mean, I love some of what we're doing in the world right now, but there's a lot of bad things in the world. I'm not going to go into them and list all of them because you already know what I'm talking about. But they don't have that in The Sims 4, and they shouldn't, I don't think. When they try to come up with new things, I appreciate that they're coming up with new things and they're thinking outside of the box. I think one way that it really turned out well, I will say one positive, is the first person camera. I think that was something that they were really proud of, and it was kind of like this goofy little thing that they introduced. But I actually use it, and I actually think it is a kind of a game changer in a way. It just makes things a little bit more real in a way, because you're seeing it through the eyes of somebody like you are when you're in real life, instead of seeing it from third person. And I think that was really cool what they did. But a lot of the other things they did, such as island living, the way that they handled it, and eco lifestyle that's coming up now. Let's see what else they're doing. A knitting pack. I see that being a flop. I'm not gonna lie. I predict that it's gonna be a flop, but I don't know. And when the surveys came out, I voted for the self-care pack because I thought it would be really cool to have that. Like a Fitbit and like a NutriBullet and like all these kinds of cool things for self-care, face masks, you know, that kind of stuff. But I can see why people were interested in the arts and crafts. But I just see it being a flop. And I think they're kind of missing the audience. I think they're kind of targeting the audience towards kids a little bit. But I don't think it's mostly kids that's playing the game. I think it's adults. I, for one, I'm 23. I'm about to be 24 in June. I've been playing The Sims since it first came out on, what was it, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, I believe. The Sims busting out, you know, all of those, The Sims 2, Sims Herbs, you know, all of that kind of good stuff. I played, and I've been playing it since I was a kid, since I was like, what, 5 or so? I don't know exactly the math on that, but I was really young when I started playing Sims. And I played Sims on my Nintendo, on my Nintendo DS. I played all types of Sims games, you know. But I think the audience has grown up with The Sims, and they're adults now. But they're trying to make it so kid-like and so quirky and kid-like, and that's just not what we're about, really. That's just not what we're, that's not the audience that they should be targeting, I believe, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that they're targeting kids. I think that that's their target audience. I think that they're kind of moving towards kids content, especially with The Sims Mobile and things like that. I could see why The Sims Mobile would target kids content, because it's like the kids have phones, they have access to it, and it's kind of like an easier kind of thing, and kids are going to be begging their parents for, you know, money to keep buying things for the Sims Mobile, and I could see why they do that. But as far as like the actual PC games, the, you know, PlayStation, Xbox games, I feel like they should be targeting a more adult audience. I'm not saying that they have to go, you know, all out and do a whole bunch of like wicked whims, you know what I'm saying, but like I just think the style of it is kind of targeted towards kids. It's not as realistic, it's more cartoon-like. And I know a lot of people for Sims 5 want it to be even more animated and cartoon-like, and I'm just not a fan of it. Honestly, like, I'm not saying that you have to have your characters look realistic for them to be relatable. I can relate to animals, I can relate to, you know, very animated, very cartoon-like characters, but I just think personally it's a little bit more connection with somebody that looks like me, you know, or somebody that, or a sim that looks close to an actual human, you know. And I don't want to get into Uncanny Valley and all that kind of stuff where it's looking too realistic. But I think The Sims 3 kind of did it really well. I think where The Sims 4 really excels is in the graphics. So the graphics are really good. And not only that, but, you know, the worst computer out there can probably play Sims 4 because, you know, the graphics are just optimized in that way. That's really all it is. And, like, graphics are great, you know, but I'd rather play Sims Herbs, or I'd rather play, you know, Sims Busting Out where the graphics were, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't great graphics, but the characterization was there, you know, the world building was there, the aspects that need to be there were there, where I don't feel like they're really there for The Sims 4. I'd rather play a game that doesn't have the best graphics but has really good gameplay, has really good connectability to me. Like, the graphics are a great plus, but they shouldn't be the main thing that they focus on, and I do not think that good gameplay should be sacrificed in the name of good graphics. And that might be an unpopular opinion, and I also don't think that good gameplay should be sacrificed in the name of optimization for, you know, lower operating computers. Because, in my opinion, I don't know if this is because of the 32-bit and the 64-bit kind of thing, but I had a computer that I bought it for like $200, literally. Like $200 to $300. And that's the regular price point for the lower end computers. And it played Sims 3 just fine. I don't think that you need to get an expensive computer. I don't think that you need to get a MacBook. I don't think that you need to get a high-end computer. But I think that you just need to be smart with what computer you're getting. Because the computer that I had back in 2013, it played Sims 3 just fine, like a beast, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it had lag, but I'm willing to have a little bit of lag in order to have good gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have a game that I'm sitting here waiting 5 seconds for it to play, rather than a game that I'm logging in and I'm going onto the game and 30 minutes later I'm signing off because it's so boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm willing to waste that time. I'm willing to have that time wasted in order for it to have good gameplay. And that might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. But I just feel like, I just think that they have good intentions, but it's just not working out. Like, I don't know. And I think that the open world, it would be a game changer. I definitely think that it's not going to happen for Sims 4 just because of the way it's set up. They would have to do a lot because, like, all of the, like, well, I don't know. But, like, a lot of the worlds, like, all the houses are just set dressing. And it's just, like, they're not connected in a way where you could really drive around. They're, like, separated with water and everything like that. I mean, I guess you could have a boat and, like, travel that way. But like, I just don't see it happening for Sims 4, but for Sims 5, I definitely think we should have an open world. I know a lot of people say that it's going to slow down your computer, it's going to, you know, not work properly and everything like that, but on my 200, it was like $200-$300 on that computer. It ran Sims 3 just fine, and this was in like 2013, 2014. It ran The Sims 3 just fine. When Island Paradise came out and I started playing that, that's when it started to lag just a little bit. Every 40 minutes it would lag for about 5 minutes. And I feel like I can handle that, you know, like I can deal with lag. And I don't think we should be sacrificing an open world just because a few people's computers can't handle it. Because at the end of the day, you can get a temp job. I've gotten a temp job before, where you can work for a week and you make about $200 to $300, and that, bam, there you go. That's enough money to buy a new computer. And that new computer should handle The Sims 4 or The Sims 5 with an open world just fine. I can't make any promises, but I know that my $200 to $300 computer handled The Sims 3 just fine. And I think it's a thing with the 32-bit and the 64-bit, where now when you play on a 64-bit computer with Sims 3, it crashes a lot, but it's not because of an open world, it's because of the 32-bit game and the 64-bit computer. But I'm not tech smart, so I don't really know all too much about that. But yeah, so I just think that we should have an open world. I think it really adds that dimension to it, makes it a world, makes it a simulator. In the real world, when you want to go to Target, you don't go through a loading screen, you drive there. And so I feel like if it's going to be a simulator, it should have an open world. I mean, I feel like that's just the basic necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could understand way back in the day, not really, but like way back in 2002, you know what I'm saying, when they didn't have the capacity to have open world. When they had loading screens, they absolutely had to have loading screens. Then I could understand it. But if you have the capacity to have if you have the capacity to have an open world, I say you should utilize it in a simulation at least. Like, because, you know, I just think it just adds that oomph. It just adds that oomph that it needs. Because when I'm so excited, I'm wrapped up in the gameplay. I don't want to sit there and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna go on a date, but I'm just gonna be sitting here on the loading screen for 5 minutes. And that's another thing. Like, people say that the loading times for Sims 3 were crazy, and yes, they were. I'm not gonna lie, they were crazy, and so was the save time. But in Sims 4 on my laptop, I don't know, I can't say too much about my desktop because I haven't really played it that much on Sims 4, but on my laptop, the loading screens were like 15 minutes long. I'm not lying. So I don't know what I was doing wrong. It's probably because I had so many mods. But listen, for me, The Sims 4 is not playable without mods. So I have to have mods to be able to play my game. And I also have to have custom content because I'm into fashion. I'm a big fashion person. And oh, that's what I was going to say. Yes. So the fashion, I believe, in The Sims 4 is very quirky. It's very loose. It's not very like tight and like urban. It's very very quirky. And that's not my style. So I look to custom content, whether that be Max Smash or Alpha, for the kind of style that I want to represent in my Sims. And I know that, you know, just because it's me playing the game doesn't mean that my sim has to have the same style that I have. I know that, but I have more fun as a fashion-minded person when I like the clothing that they're wearing. So that's why I said that it's kind of fit towards children in a way, because I feel like the clothing is more childlike and more quirky as opposed to like tight-fitting urban clothes, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a market for that, and we can see that clearly with all the custom content that's being provided and all the people that are, you know, actually using the custom content. And that's kind of why I said it's more geared towards children in a way. And yeah, so, but I just feel like open world is really important. Imagine Grand Theft Auto 5 as not being an open world, you know what I'm saying? Like, Imagine The Sims 3 as not being an open world. Can you imagine it? Because I don't want to imagine it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think for The Sims 5, please can we have an open world? Because it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I don't know what you would have to do in order to get that load time to be lower, but just do it, please. Because at the end of the day, I'm willing to wait that 15 to 30 minutes on The Sims 3. I can clean my room, I can take a shower, I can eat dinner, and then bam, I'm into the game and there's no loading screens whatsoever. But to keep having to go whenever I want to go somewhere to have a loading screen, it kind of keeps me in my house a little bit. Because I'm like, okay, I don't want to have to sit here and wait for the loading screen. But that's not, I mean, I know some people do stay in the house, and me for one, I stay in my house a lot. But that's not how the simulation works, you know. I shouldn't be sitting here wanting to stay in my house 24/7 just because I don't want to deal with loading screens. I feel like if there were to have an open world in Sims 4, they should have it. I would understand if they have it to where it's not an open world across all the worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to have, you can go from San Myshuno to Brandenburg, or is it called Brandenburg? I think it's called Brandenburg. You can't go to San Myshuno and Brandenburg and have that be an open world. Just like in The Sims 3, if you wanted to travel from Sunset Valley to Roaring Heights, you had to go through a loading screen, which I'm okay with that. But I don't think that the world itself, Windenburg, should be an open world. I feel like the world itself should be an open world, or at least open neighborhood, because you know, then you can work with it. You have material to work with. You can create a supermarket. You can create, you know, you can create a club, a party, a bar, all in the same neighborhood, and have that be a little area that you work with. You know what I'm saying? We can work with the open neighborhood. But I would prefer an open world. Okay, so that's what I feel about unopen worlds. Now we're going to move on to the next topic, which I kind of already addressed a little bit, but I'm just going to talk about it a little bit more in depth, which is black content, or content for black simmers. So when the Sims 4 first came out, it was hardly any Sims 4, it was hardly any hair for black simmers. With seasons updated and a few other packs, they came out with a lot of good black hair or curly hair and things like that, which is really good. But when it first came out, it wasn't, and that kind of sucked. And that's why we have custom content, and I hate that. So custom content is kind of looked down upon. I feel like as the Sims gurus, they kind of are like, you should be playing our game without custom content or whatever. But like, that's just how I feel. I don't know if that's how they really feel, but that's how I kind of get the message, because every time a new pack comes out, you have to disable the mods, and then you have to re-enable them, or they disable the mods for you. Which I kind of understand, because, you know, then the game could break and then you wouldn't have any access to the game to even fix it, and to see if it works, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know, I just have the feeling that they don't like when people use a lot of custom content. But like, the black hairs were not there, and now they're there, but they're just not a lot of them compared to like the straight hairstyles and the, you know, typically Caucasian hairstyles, and then the skin tones. So the tan skins are okay, but when it comes to the dark, rich black skin tones, they look gray. They don't look lively. They don't look realistic. And I don't know if that was a stylistic approach to make it like cartoony, but like, that's not it. That's not it, because all the other tones work just fine. They look realistic, but the black skin tones look gray, and I'm just like, why? Like, you could have easily made it more warm. It's simple. Like, I don't understand why it had to be that way. And I know like the aesthetic of the Sims is kind of like cool tones, like the lighting and everything was kind of like cool tone, and it's all blue and stuff like that. But like, the skin itself shouldn't be that way, I feel like, because like, it's not realistic, and it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So and as well, as far as the clothing, I feel like it's very geared towards more of a bohemian, quirky kind of style as opposed to like a more urban, tight-fitting, you know, Fashion Nova kind of style. And I'm not saying everything needs to be Fashion Nova, but like if you could have one pack that could be kind of Fashion Nova like, I would like that. And I feel like the Moschino pack could have been that, but they didn't do it that way. It was still kind of loose fitting and kind of quirky and stuff like that. But that's why I use custom content, and personally I like alpha because it's more realistic and I have more customization. I feel like there's just more out there for alpha. The hair styles that I like them more in alpha than I do in Max's Match. I feel like the Max's Match, or the Max's hairs that they have, kind of look like Lego hair, or they look like when Red and Link put peanut butter in their hair. That's what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna insert a clip. That's what it looks like. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know it's a stylistic choice, but you could literally make your Sims stick people and say that it's a stylistic choice, but that doesn't mean that it's a good stylistic choice. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel. But you know, alpha and Max's Match, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I'm cool with either one. I've done Max's Match gameplay before, but I feel like there's a lot more black content in alpha, as far as the clothing goes and as far as the hair goes. And I'm not saying every black person out there wears tight-fitting urban clothes, but a lot of people do, and I would appreciate if they at least made an effort to show that aspect of life, because if it's good... Sorry, my dog's barking, but I would appreciate if they showed that aspect of life, because if you're gonna have a simulator, you can't just have it through the eyes of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the creators are very quirky, and that's good. I love quirky, as I said before. But if you're gonna create a life simulator, you can't just be like, okay, I like loose-fitting, quirky clothes, so I'm gonna make loose-fitting, quirky clothes. You know what I'm saying? You have to have those options for people that want to do urban kind of styles, for people that want to do kawaii kind of styles. You have to have those options there for people that want to do that, because it's a life simulator. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody in the world wears quirky clothes, and if they did, it would be really boring. I remember my mom saying to me as a child, if everyone looked the same, you know, it would be boring, and so you should be happy that you look different from other people. And that's true. Like, if everyone was wearing quirky clothes, it'd be really boring, and it is boring to me, and that's why I use custom content. You know what I'm saying? So, that's that on the black content. I just feel like it has a way to go on that. But they're improving. Let's talk about the anniversary and the hot tub. So, the hot tub, I feel like, was a slap in the face to a lot of simmers, because it's just kind of like, okay, like, number one, like, you already released hot tubs, and you know you had to pay for them, which I understand. You know, I believe you had to pay for them in The Sims 3 too, but they were in an expansion pack with a bunch of other stuff. And that's another thing, but I'll talk about that in a second. Number one, they already had hot tubs. And number two, it was just like, this is what we're doing? Really? You're gonna give us a hot tub for our anniversary? Like, I feel like you could have done something more. I'm not saying they needed to come out with a free expansion pack. I'm not saying that they needed to come out with a free stuff pack, but they could have done more discounts. They could have just done something a little bit more special to really show us that they appreciate the customers that have been with them for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Or not 20 plus, because it's only been 20, but that have been with them for 20 years. So I understand that, and I was grateful that we even got anything, to be honest, because the way that Sims 4 it has gone, I didn't think we were going to get anything. But I could see why it was a flop. I could see why people were not very happy about it. And I just feel like because of the track record that Sims 4 has, anything that they come out with now is going to be held under scrutiny. Is that the right word? Scrutiny? I don't know, scrutinization or whatever, because they have a bad track record. Like, honestly, like, if they had a good track record and this eco lifestyle came out, I think people would be a little bit more accepting towards it. But because we're already fed up, we're gonna be sitting here like, okay, like, another, you know, another one of these. And like, when Island Living came out, I was really fed up, because I was like, you're gonna, instead of having, you could own a resort or own a hotel, instead of being a playable lifeguard career, you could pick up trash for a living. And I know that sounds really shallow, but like, it's just like, I didn't like it. And it's like, what does it have to do with island living? The only way that I could find a connection was Moana, because in Moana, Moana had to sail the seas and find Maui to save the island, and the island was, you know, kind of falling apart, and she had to save the island and basically be an environmentalist. And that's the only way that I could really find a connection, because otherwise, other than that, what does it have to do with island living? You know what I'm saying? It should be, what does it have to do with island living, you know? I know that island living is an island is in the world, and in the world you have to worry about eco living, but it doesn't have anything to do with island living. It should be its own pack where, you know, no matter where you live, it doesn't matter if you live on an island, if you live in New York, if you live in California, you should be picking up trash. You should be picking up trash. You should be worried about the environment, no matter where you live, not just in an island. So I'm like, why is this in an island pack? It should be its own pack. And then here we go, it's its own pack now. But I'm still not happy because I feel like they had the opportunity to do that already. Like, I feel like they already had that opportunity with the, what was it, the laundry pack. I forget what it's called, but that was another sim voted pack, and they voted for eco living, which I wasn't the happiest about. I was wanting wedding stuff because I wanted more like generations and like, you know, story building kind of stuff. But they wanted laundry, and I was okay with that. But then they wanted eco living is what they wanted, and I was okay with that. But then they made it into laundry, which uses up a lot of water resources, and I'm just like, how does this have anything to do with eco living? And so I think they kind of messed up on that part, and it's, ever since then they've been kind of trying to retrace their steps and kind of make up for it, and they've been overcompensating for it by already doing it in island living when it had no business being in island living, and now they have a whole expansion pack dedicated to it. And I'm just like, why do we need it? Like, we already had this in the island living. We've already lived through this. We've already experienced that gameplay. An expansion pack is supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be expansionary to the game. But how is it expanding when we've already had the environment cleanup? We've already had that. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm so sorry, but hey guys, I'm on my phone now because my camera died and got out of space, but we're gonna continue the video. So yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be redundant anyways, why not do it for something that we're asking for? You know what I'm saying? Because generations we've been asking for, and I know might have been too late in the game by the time we started recommending it for them to actually implement it into their thing. I don't know how long it takes to make an expansion pack. But you know, if they had done that, I feel like we would have been happier. But like, I'm not saying they need to cater to everything that we're saying, but it would be a smart business idea, because like, you want to satisfy your customers, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like they have this branding of like, you know, we're a part of the game, like we're a part of the choosing of where the game goes with all the Sims choice, the Simmer's Choice, you know, game or stuff packs, all the packs that we get to choose stuff in. So I feel like that's the kind of their branding. But then when it comes to anything else besides the stuff pack, oh, forget, you know, having input on it. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I feel like the creators are doing things that they're passionate about, and not things that we're passionate about, and not things that we would like to see. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not a passion project. I'm so sorry, but it's not. It's a whole franchise. It's had so many generations, so many different franchises of it, and it's a big corporation. It's a big company. So this is not a passion project. If you want to create a passion project, by all means, do it in your free time. I know you probably don't have a lot of free time because a lot of the time you have to work for Sims, but like, if you want to create a passion project where it's so quirky and everything's eco lifestyle and everything like that, like if you want to do that, then do it, but don't put all that energy of what you like into The Sims 4, because not everyone's gonna like what you like. And a good way to know what we actually do like is to listen to us and not mute us in the comment section. So, you know, it's just kind of ridiculous in a way. And that's how I feel about that. You know, Island Living was a flop. Eco Lifestyle, I feel like it's gonna be a flop. And that's just how I feel. I feel like in The Sims 3 and in The Sims 2, when they had an expansion pack, it actually expanded the game. It was actually expansionary. In Sims 4, I just feel like it's a cash grab. It's another way to get some money. But then again, I don't, because if they really wanted to do cash grabs, they would have done Generations and not Eco Lifestyle. But still, you know, I feel like they're conflicted in a way, but it's like they kind of want money, but then they're kind of doing a passion project kind of thing. I just feel like every expansion pack is not really expansionary, like, except for Seasons. I feel like Seasons is really expansionary, and Seasons is my favorite pack, even though I love Get Famous because you know, I love the YouTube aspect and I love, you know, all that kind of social media kind of stuff. Seasons is my favorite because it was really expansionary. It actually, you know, built upon the game, and that really, I feel like, just made the game better in every way. And if they could do that with every pack, I'd be so happy. I would actually play The Sims 4. But right now, I'm not playing it because it's just not fun for me, and two, because the game is kind of broken for me. Like, I can't really play it because every time I try to load it up, it crashes because of the mods. But then again, I don't want to play the game without mods because it's not fun. And I have like 20 gigabytes worth of mods in there, so I don't know which mods are breaking it. So it's just like a complete mess. And yeah, I just feel like they're not really expansionary, and like, so many modders have done things before The Sims 4 did it. So many modders have done things that The Sims 4 said that they couldn't do. For example, well, okay, so I don't know if they technically said that they couldn't do walking into water, but they just hadn't done it yet. And then Nando, who made the Tropical Getaway pack, I believe, or the Tropical Getaway mod, made it so that you could actually walk into the water, and I was so excited for that. It was so exciting. And then Island Living came out, and then you could finally actually walk into the water, but only in Island Living World, only in I forget what it's called, not Isla Pierde, so that was Sims 3. But so Nando did it first. Cars, I don't know who did it first, but somebody did it first, and Sims 4 has yet to do it. I probably think they're going to eventually do it. But modders are doing all these amazing things for free. Yes, they had Patreons, but those are optional. And, you know, they're not gonna make rent off of that. They're not gonna make rent money off of it, I believe. Like, I don't see them making enough money to pay their rent with. It's a passion project for them, which is great because, you know, nobody's depending on them for a game. They're doing it in their own time. If they want to share it with the world, they can. They don't have to share the mods that they make to make the game better. They don't have to. They do it because they care about it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I just feel like the expansion packs are not really expansionary. In Sims 3, you know, you got all kinds of new interactive furniture, interactive animations, and things like that. But in The Sims 4, I feel like it's just like one or two, like what I would call premium content. Because I know in The Sims 3 store, when something is like interactive, when it builds upon the game, other than just clothes, hair, and furniture that's not interactive, or like decorations, it would be called premium content. And so what I like to call it is premium content, basically. There's only a few like really premium content kind of things, or like things that really have new animations, have new interactions, you know, things like that. And then there's just a whole bunch of set dressing, basically. There's a whole bunch of decor, there's a whole bunch of clothing and objects, which is good, clothing and hair, which is good, but you know, it's you know what I'm saying? I know it's an expansion pack, so it needs to expand upon it in a lot of different ways. But the most important way, I believe, since it is an expansion pack, should be expanding upon the gameplay. I think that the most important thing should be that premium content, that interactive content. And that's just my opinion. I don't think that's a fact. I don't think that, you know, they have to do it, but I just think that's how I feel. I think that's how a lot of other people feel as well. But it's just not a lot of it, because when I buy a stuff pack or a game pack or an expansion pack, it's only for the premium content. It's only for the interactive content, because I don't use their hair, I don't use their clothes, and I barely even use their objects, like their decor, because it's just so cartoony to me. I use a lot of custom content decor and hair and clothes. So if I'm gonna be buying a stuff pack, it's only gonna be for the interactive content and the new animations and the new careers and the new aspirations and the new traits, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like they're limited for no reason. Like, why only have 3 traits? You know what I'm saying? People don't have just 3 traits in life, you know what I'm saying? But they could have easily made it 5 traits, I feel like. But maybe there was some, you know, constriction in the coding or in the platform that they use. Like they said, that's why they couldn't do toddlers, but then they ended up doing toddlers. So it's just like, okay, don't say you can't do something, because it's going to look really bad when you come out and you can do it, or when a modder comes out and they did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why put that limitation there for no reason? And I just feel like they're just so limited for no reason. And yeah, so the expansion packs are not expansionary. Let's see what else I have. And honestly, like, I just feel like an open world is really important to the game. It's just very, it builds upon it, it makes it more realistic, because when you go from A to B, you don't teleport there, you drive there. It's they're missing a very important aspect of life, which is transportation. You know what I'm saying? Like, transportation has been in our world for as long as we have been living as humans, you know what I'm saying? Like, we walked everywhere, then we had like horses and carriages, and then we have cars, then we have planes, you know what I'm saying? And that transportation is a big part of people's life. I don't know the data, the statistics, but I'm pretty sure we probably spend like half of our life transporting people, or not transporting people. I'm pretty sure we probably spend like at least half, or maybe like 1/3 of our lives just transporting to places, or just transportation, just using transportation, you know what I'm saying? Like, every time we go to work, we have to, you know, transport there. Every time we go to the grocery store, we transport there. And all of our, you know, a lot of our lives is spent doing transportation, but then it's just cut out of the world completely. And so I feel like that's really important to have. And everybody says, you know, an open world for The Sims 4 would make it really laggy, would make it really slow on computers. But you have to think about it. And they say that because, and they say it's because The Sims 3, they say, oh, well, The Sims 3 was really laggy on computers. And, you know, so The Sims 4 would be laggy on the computers too if it was an open world. And number one, I don't understand that, because on my $200 computer, it ran just fine. Sims 3 ran just fine. So I don't know whose computers are really not running well. I think a lot of people that are, I think every time I've heard somebody say that the computer would be slow if Sims 4 was an open world, it was a game changer. It was a YouTuber who actually makes money through either EA Game Changers or through YouTube AdSense. They make money, so they have money for a computer. So I don't know who they're talking about whose computer's not running. I've never heard an actual customer that's not a YouTuber on Twitter, just somebody on Twitter say, you know, my computer can't run it. I've never heard anybody say that. So if you guys actually have said that, please comment down below, because I don't know who said it, besides people that actually make money to have that computer, to even have a $400 computer that can run Sims 4 as an open world. You know what I'm saying? And so that's number one. Number two, Sims 3 was, if it was laggy on computers, it's because they had like 40 to 50 lots on a sim. You know what I'm saying? They had 40 to 50 lots. They had 40 to 50 locations that are running all at the same time. Whereas in Sims 4, the most lots that we've had was Windenburg with like, I think it was like 30 lots maybe. Maybe I'm overestimating. Maybe it was a little bit less, but that's the most we've had. And then other than that, it's probably like 11 lots to a world tops. That's like on a good day, you know, that's when a good pack comes out, it's 11 lots. You know, otherwise it's like 5 to 9 lots, you know what I'm saying? So an open world with 5 to 9 lots is not going to run laggy where it would in The Sims 4, or where it would in The Sims 3 with 40 to 50 lots, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that they have room to make an open world, but they're not going to, and I don't expect them to. I don't think they're going to, and I don't even want an open world for The Sims 4 at this point, because it would just not make sense for the way that they set it up. It wouldn't make sense. But I'm just saying, if they were to have an open world, it would be okay, I believe, because they have 5 lots to a world, not 50. So, you know, it's going to be a lot less going on in the world. So that's how I feel about that. As far as cars go, I don't think that they're needed at this point. If we're not going to have an open world, we don't need to have cars, in my opinion. But I do understand why cars are a big part of our lives as well. And so in Sims 2, you know, they didn't have an open world. They had loading screens, but they had cars. And I think that kind of made an aspect of it more fun as well. You know, you could woohoo in the car, you know, a bunch of things you could do in the car, which is really cool. And then in Sims 4, we just don't have cars at all. So I could understand when people want cars, but for me personally, I don't have a need for cars unless I have an open world. So that's just how I feel about cars. I think I've covered all the bases here. So yeah, in conclusion, there's a lot of things that are wrong with The Sims 4. But you know, my hair is so uneven right now. I don't know what's going on with it. It's like supposed to come down to like here, but it's like shrinking. It shrinks so badly. Oh, but anyways, yeah. So that's basically how I feel about Sims 4 right now at this point. I hope The Sims 5 does a lot better, because if it doesn't, I'm really worried about Sims 4 as a franchise, as it continues. I want my children to play Sims 4. I mean, not Sims 4. You know, I want my children to have the opportunity to play The Sims. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it really expands your mind in a way. It makes you think about things. It fosters creativity, I feel like. And so it's good for that. But I really hope Sims 5 does better. I really do. Because if it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. I really want The Sims 5 to continue. I mean, I really want the Sims franchise to continue. I really want to be able to play it when I'm, you know, later on in life. I want to be able to play new expansions, or yeah, new expansions of the game, new versions of the game, you know. So I just hope Sims 5 does better. I hope it has an open world, because I feel like that's really important. And I hope the emotion system is a lot better. I'm going to make a video on my Sims 5 wish list as well, because I have a lot of very particular things that I'm looking for in The Sims 5. But yeah, I don't want to go too much into Sims 5 in this video, but that's what I think. That's what I'm hoping for. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I don't usually say that because I feel like you guys already remember to. If you want to, you're going to. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here, show my face a little bit for reaching 300 subscribers. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to have all of you guys here. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, Pixel friends.